Wishing on Stars by Rosie Maddox. Exterior, Clark family home mailbox, day. Mare, high school senior, strolls down the front walkway to the mailbox, quickly types a text and stuffs her phone in her pocket. She grabs a pile of mail, junk, bill, University of California, Berkeley, junk. Mare stops suddenly and pulls the last envelope to the front. University of California, Berkeley admissions office. Her eyes widen. A school bell rings. Exterior, high school bleachers, day. Mare sits at the top of the bleachers, textbook in her lap.
Hey, Mare.
Mare smiles slightly and waves to the passing student before glancing down at her book.
Sup, Mare?
Her eyes meet the passing student calling her name and waves to them. She nods in greeting to a couple other people before looking back down at her textbook. A worn University of California, Berkeley acceptance letter lays open on top of an open page. Dear Miss Clark, congratulations. I am delighted to offer you admission to the University of California, Berkeley for the upcoming fall semester. Mare sighs a long, deep breath as her eyes scan the letter again. She chews the inside of her lip and sits back to watch the track team's after-school practice. Her eyes narrow in on Noah, high school senior, Mare's ex-boyfriend, running on the track with his teammates. She scoffs at his smiling face.
Wow, the X is more distracting than statistics?
Jules, edgy high school senior, brunette, Mare's best friend, hikes up the steps blocking Mare's view of Noah. Backpack slung over one shoulder and camera bag on the other. Mare quickly flips to a new page to cover the letter and follows Jules' path with her eyes.
I'm finishing our last track article for class.
Jules takes a seat next to her and pulls out her camera.
You're not even writing anything.
Mare leans toward Jules and taps her temple.
It's all up here.
Jules smiles and holds the camera up, snapping a few photos of the runners. Mare glares down at the track.
I mean, Shelby Davies?
You were going to break up with him anyway.
I know, but cheating on me with her? Why her?
Shelby's a bitch, and Noah's a dick. They deserve each other.
He could have at least picked someone decent.
Clark, you're always too good for that boy. There will be plenty of other people to choose from at UW.
Mare immediately stiffens and nods.
Right. Totally.
So?
Jules reaches over and closes Mare's textbook.
What's our prom plan now?
Mare groans and drops her forehead to Jules' shoulder.
Ugh, I don't want to go to prom.
It's a high school rite of passage.
Mare rests her chin on Jules' shoulder.
The thought of being in a crowded gym with our whole class makes me want to barf.
Mare sits back up.
You should just go with that girl you like, that you refuse to tell me about.
Jules blushes at the hint of bitterness in Mare's voice.
I promise you that the only person I'd want to go to prom with is you.
Mare gazes at Jules' warm smile before she quickly looks away, cheeks flushed. Jules gives her hand a friendly pat.
Which is exactly why we're going to have our own prom night.
A small yet intrigued smile grows on Mare's face.
Rub your lips together.
Interior, Mare's bedroom, prom night. Mare does so, spreading the glimmering gloss on her lips, the finishing touch on her freshly made-up face. Chris smiles at her work and powders Mare's nose a touch more.
Good. You're done.
Chris sticks her face next to Mare's as she examines her makeup in the mirror. Their eyes lock in the reflection.
You covered all my zits.
Chris rolls her eyes.
Yeah, all two of them.
She sets herself on the bed.
Give me a twirl.
Mare chuckles and stands, twirling around in her long dress and giving a little kick at the end.
How do I look?
Hot. You and Jules are going to look so good together. You know, this would be a super cute first date.
Mare quirks an eyebrow at her.
You do realize that Jules does not feel that way about me, right?
Chris cocks her head, eyes squinting in confusion.
I would know if my best friend had a crush on me.
She doesn't know about your crush.
'Cause I'm subtle.
Chris hesitates, mouth opening and closing. before deciding against arguing.
You're right. It's smart to not date right now anyway. How'd she take the Cal news?
Mare bites her lip, eyes drifting toward the ground. Chris releases a long exhale in realization.
Mare.
I'm going to tell her, okay?
Mare rubs her brow.
We assumed that when I got waitlisted, we'd go to UW together. I'm kind of ruining that plan.
It's Jules. She wants you to be happy.
What about her happiness?
Chris grabs her hand and pulls her toward her.
You're allowed to feel excited about Cal, Mare Bear. Jules is your best friend. She's going to be happy if you're happy.
Chris sighs at Mare's guilt-ridden eyes that won't meet hers.
Just talk to her, okay?
Mare exhales and nods. Chris jerks Mare closer, mouth right on her ear, breaking the tension.
I put champagne in your bag.
Chris!
It's prom night. You guys will have a hotel room to yourselves. Have all kinds of fun.
Chris winks as Mare playfully pushes her away.
God, stop!
The doorbell rings. Interior Clark family front room. Later. Mom, 50s, Mare's mom, ushers Jules, dressed in an edgy dress, inside, corsage in her hands, and closes the door behind her.
Oh, Jules, look at you.
It's a shame your classmates won't get to see the two of you.
Mom and Dad, 50s, Mare's dad, exchange a knowing look.
Maybe that's a good thing. We wouldn't want them to feel too bad about themselves. High school is hard enough.
Jules laughs.
Thanks, but I do hope Noah feels horrible about himself.
Ah, he's the exception.
Dad nudges Jules' shoulder.
She's always her happiest with you anyway.
Jules smiles, blushing slightly. Her eyes search around the room and points toward her room.
Is she still...
Footsteps scamper toward them. Jules stops mid-sentence as her eyes meet Mare's. She swallows through her now dry throat, heat rising in her cheeks as Mare smiles down at her. Chris follows close, a knowing smirk on her face. Mare jumps the final stair step and gracefully lands in front of Jules.
Impressive.
I try.
Jules clears her throat.
I know it's a fake prom, but I made you a corsage.
Oh, wow.
Jules smiles and takes her hand, sliding the corsage on Mare's wrist. An idea comes to Mare's mind. She grabs her purse and rifles through it until she finds a scrunchie.
Will a scrunchie do?
I love it.
Mare slides the scrunchie onto Jules's wrist, her fingers lingering for a moment longer than necessary. The moment slows and stills, and, for a brief moment, it's only the two of them in the room.
This reminds me of our prom.
Mare breaks her gaze away from Jules. Her parents gaze at each other, Dad rubbing Mom's hand resting on his bicep.
That's when I knew you were the one.
Dad's eyes move from Jules to Mare. He gives his daughter a little wink. Mare blushes hard and quickly turns away.
Okay, we're going now.
Mare grabs her bag sitting near the front door.
Wait, we need a picture.
Dad holds a small point-and-shoot camera to his eye, motioning them together. Mare and Jules exchange a look and stand awkwardly next to each other.
Do a prom pose.
Mare's eyes widen in horror.
No!
That's a great idea, sweetie.
Mare glares at Chris, pressing her lips into a devious smile.
The faster we do this, the faster we leave.
Jules hesitates before sliding her hands onto Mare's waist. Once in position, she leans closer, her lips only inches from Mare's ear.
I'll take better pictures later.
Mare glances back at her.
You brought your camera?
Mare gently places her hands on top of Jules, pressing their bodies closer together.
Duh, I'm a photographer, and you're basically my muse.
Butterflies flutter in Mare's stomach at the softness of her touch, at the closeness of her body, at the ease of her words, at the yearning building within herself.
Big smiles.
Mare snaps out of her thoughts and smiles for the camera, the flash blinding the screen. Montage. Exterior, park, later. Jules holds a DSLR camera trying to pose an uncooperative Mare. She drops her camera down, the hint of a laugh behind her annoyed glare. Mare smiles guiltily and proceeds to pose next to a large tree. Jules laughs and snaps some photos of a playfully posing Mare. Jules sets the camera on a trash can and rushes over to Mare's side. She puts an arm around her shoulder, and they both flip a peace sign over their eyes. The camera flashes. They do several more fun poses, camera flashes separating each one before ending candidly with them holding each other and laughing. Exterior picnic table, later. Mare and Jules sit on top of a picnic table, takeout boxes in their laps. They bite into their tacos, trying not to spill on their dresses. Mare closes her eyes, savoring the delicious taste on her empty stomach. Salsa slowly drips down her chin. Jules smiles and dabs it with her napkin. Mare laughs, still chewing on her bite. Jules gazes at her for a second before playfully wiping the rest of her face with the napkin, shaking away her feelings. Mare flinches away, smile still on her face as she jumps off the table and takes another bite of food. End montage. Interior hotel room, later. Mare dances out of the bathroom, cleaned and pajama-clad, as an upbeat song plays from the TV.
Oh my god, I love this song!
Jules, also in her pajamas, meets her with a freshly poured glass of champagne.
Champagne?
Ooh, thank you, darling.
Mare raises her glass.
To Chris, because without her, we wouldn't have this champagne.
Jules raises her glass.
To Chris.
They clink their glasses together and sip the bubbly liquid, grimacing at its bitter taste.
I think she got the cheap stuff.
They both force down another sip.
I'll complain to her tomorrow.
They continue grooving to the upbeat music until it fades into something a little slower. Jules gulps down the rest of her drink and holds a hand out to Mare. Mare quirks a questioning eyebrow at her. Jules smirks.
It's prom. We have to have at least one dance.
Mare playfully rolls her eyes and begrudgingly flops her hand into Jules's. Jules pulls her closer, her hands gently resting on Mare's waist as Mare lays her arms on Jules's shoulders. They rock back and forth to the gentle beat of the music.
You almost had to do this with Noah.
Jules chuckles to herself. Mare places an index finger on Jules's lips.
No more Noah talk. He's dead to me.
That was fast.
Like you said, I was going to break up with him anyway.
Jules smiles slightly as their eyes connect, gazes holding and bodies swaying from side to side. Jules releases a quiet exhale, hesitates, and tucks some hair behind Mare's ear, fingertips lingering. Mare leans into her touch, looking at her curiously.
Mare, I need to tell you something.
Jules finally breaks her gaze away. Guilt fills Mare's chest as she watches anxiety growing within her best friend. Her heart pounds in her ears, and her secret squeezes her chest as they continue slow dancing together.
Me too.
Jules meets her gaze again and smiles slightly.
You first.
Mare chews the inside of her lip, hands still resting on Jules's shoulders. She sharply inhales, feigning confidence.
I got a letter. From Cal. I was accepted.
Jules's heart drops.
Oh, wow. Mare.
Jules forces a small smile, shaking away her selfish feelings.
That's amazing.
Mare shakes her head and comes away from Jules, avoiding her eyes.
I'm sorry. I know we were going to room together at UW. But Cal
is your dream school. Mare, you're the smartest person I know. Of course you got in.
Mare releases a sigh of relief. Jules smiles warmly at her and knocks Mare's shoulders.
You earned this, Clark. I'm really proud of you.
Mare can't help but smile and looks away, blushing slightly.
Thanks.
Mare trails off and shakes away the next words she wants to say.
What did you need to tell me?
Jules freezes.
Oh, just that...
Her mind scrambles for another answer. She smiles slightly as she meets Mare's eyes again.
I'm having a really good time tonight.
Mare smiles.
Better than normal prom?
Duh.
Jules' eyes drift away, chest aching.
Things are always better with you, Clark.
A wave of sadness washes over Mare at Jules' words, a gentle pang pinching her heart. Interior, Jules' bedroom, night. Text, Vancouver, Washington, 2 months later. The warm glow of the bedside lamp lights the otherwise dark room as Mare and Jules lay in a bed together. Mare sleeps peacefully on her side while Jules stares up at the ceiling wide awake, breathing in and out through her nose. Her finger taps against the back of her hand to the rapid beat of her heart. Jules fondly watches Mare adjust in her sleep before glancing at the time, 2 a.m. She sighs and quietly slides out of bed. Mare's eyes blink open as Jules's footsteps creak out the door. Exterior, Tori's family backyard, continuous. Jules breathes deeply through a constricted chest as her fingers fiddle with a small strip of paper. She stuffs the finished piece in her pocket and fiddles with a new one. A soft blanket slides onto her shoulders as Mare steps out from behind her.
What are you doing out here, crazy?
Jules quickly wipes her watery eyes in the darkness and inhales to catch her breath.
I didn't mean to wake you.
Mare bumps her shoulder with Jules.
You okay?
Jules swallows the knot in her throat and nods, blinking away new tears.
Jules.
Jules clears her throat, forcing a small smile.
I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss this.
It's only an 11-hour drive. I plan on coming home every month for sleepovers.
Jules smiles and nods. After a beat, Mare straightens as she takes a deep breath in, her chin quivering slightly.
Honestly, I'm scared, Jules. I have no one out there. What if I fail?
You're not gonna fail.
What if I do?
Jules shakes her head and holds Mare's face, thumbs gently stroking her cheek.
Then we'll figure it out. You're not alone in this, Mare. Your family will be there, and I'll be there the moment you need me, okay?
Mare places her hand on Jules's, holding her gaze under the quiet night sky. Jules hesitates at the closeness of their bodies, of their faces, before she drops her hands away. Jules reaches into her pocket and pulls out one of the small origami stars. She smiles at it slightly before looking up at the starry night sky.
No matter where we are, we'll be looking at the same stars.
Her eyes meet Mare's, cheeks flushed in embarrassment.
I know it's cheesy, but
She shrugs.
I feel a little better when I tell myself that.
Jules places the star in Mare's hand. Mare holds her stare for a moment before wrapping her arms around her, holding her close. Jules's eyes squeeze shut as she savors the feeling of Mare's touch. Jules clears her throat and slowly pulls away from her.
God, we're being dramatic. We're literally going to talk every day.
Until you replace me.
Jules scoffs and puts her arm around Mare, turning them back toward the house.
Yeah, right. You're the popular one, Clark.
They walk back toward the door, blurring into the background the farther away they get.
In Vancouver, the real world is a whole different story.
Text, Berkeley, California, 10 years later. Interior, Mare's Berkeley bedroom, later. Mare sips a fresh cup of coffee as she works, email open on one side of her computer and a page full of code on the other. A shower runs in the background. Mare searches her desk for a pencil and notebook, checking under random objects on the desk before pulling her drawer open. She freezes, the sight of an old prom photo peeking out from underneath the skewed notebook stopping her search. She pushes the contents out of the way and stares longingly at Jules, whom she hasn't heard from in years. She takes away the flooding memories and covers it back up. She grabs the notebook and pen and gets back to work. A notification pops up at the top right of her screen as a new email appears in her inbox as she works. The University of Washington Graduate Admissions Office. Mare stares at it, heart thumping in her chest, before finally clicking it open. Cut to black.